David Lee. David Lee was the first poet laureate of Utah. He taught for many, many years down at SUU in Cedar City, and he lived in Paraguna, Utah. He became known as the pig poet of Paraguna. This is one of his early, I believe his first book, called the Porcine Canticles. Now this is quite a poem. It's tough to get through. It's not to everybody's taste. It's, it has some profanities in it. But I think all of these poems from the Porcine Canticles are just, they show his wit, they show his deep attention to the land, the people, particularly accents and voices. And I wished I could read this like David Lee does. And even though Dave is a good friend and he's appeared here in the store many, many times, and I've heard him read certainly, but I've never ever heard him read For Jan with Love. Dave's kind of a challenge because these poems, they don't have any punctuation. So you just kind of dive in, see where it goes. For Jan with Love. Johnny comes to my house, pulls his beat-up truck in my drive and honks. Dave, John says, Dave, my red sow, she's got pigs stuck in my big hands. They won't go, and I gotta get them pigs out of that fucker. She's gonna die. And I says, John, goddamn, we'll be right down. And John says, Jan. He yells, Jan, where's Jan? She's got little hands. She can get in there and pull them pigs. And I says, Jan. And he says, Jan. And Jan comes, what? Jan says, and John says, tell Jan, Dave. And I said, Jan, John's red sow's got pigs stuck in his hands too big and won't go, and he's got to get them pigs out or that fucker's gonna die. John, he turns his head and lights a cigarette. He don't say fuck to no woman. And Jan, she says, well, let's go. And we got in John's beat-up damn truck and go to pull John's pigs. John's red sow, she doesn't weigh 160 pounds, but he bred her to his biggest boar and had to put hay bales by her side so the boar wouldn't break her back, because Carl bet $5 he couldn't, and John, he bet $5 she could, and John, he won. But Carl enjoyed watching anyway. John's red sow was laying on her side hurting bad, and we could see she had a pig right there, but it wouldn't come. She was too small. And John says, see? And I says, I see. That pig's got to come out or that fucker's going to die. And Jan puts Vaseline on her hands and says, hold her legs. And I hold her legs. And Jan goes in after the pig. And John gets out of the pen and goes somewhere else. Jan, she pulls like hell. Pretty soon that pig come big little pig dead, and I give Jan more Vaseline. She goes back in to see about any more. And John's red sow pushes hard on Jan's arm up to her elbow inside, and Jan says, there's more, help me. And I help another. Big damn dead comes, and John's red sow, she seems better, and we hope that's all. John's red sow won't go out of labor, so we stay all night. And John brings coffee and smokes and flashlight batteries. And finally, Jan can feel another pig, but John's red sow swole up tight, and she can't grab hold but only touch. So I push her side, and she grunts and screams and shits all over Jan's arm. And Jan says, I got it. Help me, and I help, and we pull for a goddamn hour and pull the pig's head off. And I says, oh my God, we gotta get that pig now. And that fucker's gonna die for sure. And John says, what happened? And Jan gives him a baby pig's head in his hand. And John goes somewhere else again. While Jan goes back fast inside, grabbing hard, and John's red sow hurts bad. And Jan says, I got something, help me, and I help. And we start taking that pig out piece by piece. God damn you, bitch, don't you die, Jan yells, when John's red sow don't help no more, and we work and the sun comes up, and finally we get the last piece of pig out and give John's red sow a big shot of penicillin. Her ass swole up like a football, but she don't labor. And John says, is that all? And Jan wipes her bloody arms on a rag and says, yes, John, and climbs in the pen and says, how's my red sow? And we look and go home, go to bed, because John's red sow, that fucker, she died. David Lee, the pig poet of Paragoona. He got a little advice for writers, too, here. At least his buddy John. John figures prominently in all of these poems. We were loading a boar, a goddamn mean big son of a bitch, and he jumped out of the pickup 4 times and tore out my stock racks and rooted me in the stomach, and I fell down, and he bit John on the knee, and he thought it was broken, and so did I, and the boar stood over in the far corner of the pen and watched us, and John and I just sat there tired, and Jan laughed and brought us a beer, and I said, John, it ain't worth it. Nothing's going right, and I'm feeling half dead, and haven't wrote a poem in ages, and I'm ready to quit it all. And John said, shit, young fella, you ain't got started yet. And the reason's because you trying to do it outside yourself and ain't looking in. And if you want to, by God, write poems, you got to write poems about what you know and not about the rest. And you can write about pigs and that boar and Jan and you and me and the rest, and there ain't no way you're going to quit. And we drank beer, smoked, all 3 of us, and finally loaded that mean bastard and drove home and unloaded him, and he bit me again. And I went in the house and got out my papers and pencils and started writing and found out, John, he was right.